The CMU PAX Award is presented in honor of a lifetime of exemplary service, leadership, and reconciliation in church and society. As part of this award, CMU provides an honorarium to a charity chosen by the recipient. This year, that gift will be made to Change for Children Association in Edmonton. Now, while this award recognizes people for what they already have done and accomplished over many years, we also make them do a little work in the form of an interview. And so please join me in welcoming the cherished and highly celebrated writer Rudy Wiebe, along with Sue Sorensen, Associate Professor of English, for a little chat.
Before I invite Rudy up here for a conversation with me, I will give you a brief version of the biography of Rudy that you have in your programs. But in case you didn't get a program, I will tell you a little bit about Rudy Wiebe, although I know he has many friends in the room who know him very well. Rudy Wiebe is a major figure in Canadian literature, having been celebrated for over 30 published works. Twice recognized with the Governor General's Award for fiction for The Temptations of Big Bear and A Discovery of Strangers. He was also made an Officer of the Order of Canada in 2000. Rudy was born in 1934 on a settler homestead near Fairholme, Saskatchewan, where his parents had settled after fleeing the former Soviet Union in 1947. The family moved to Coaldale, Alberta. Rudy won his first prize for fiction in 1956, while an undergraduate student at the University of Alberta, from where he went on to study literature and theology in Tübingen, Germany, and following completion of his master's degree in literature in 1960 at the University of Alberta, he completed a Bachelor of Theology degree from Mennonite Brethren Bible College, one of our predecessor institutions. It was during this time, while also serving as editor of the Mennonite Brethren Herald, that his first novel, Peace Shall Destroy Many, was published. That novel's frank and astonishing insights elicited strong and starkly varying responses, reinforcing his sense of the power of the written word. Rudy went on to teach English at Goshen College, Indiana, and then settled in 1967 into his longtime post as Professor of Creative Writing and English at the University of Alberta. While Rudy was in Winnipeg, he met and married Tina Isaac, who is here with him tonight. Together they would have 3 children, Adrian, Michael, and Christopher. And throughout the years, they have been active at Lendrum Mennonite Brethren Church in Edmonton. I met Rudy 12 years ago when he helped us start the School of Writing at CMU, a summer school that we ran here for 5 years. I've always been grateful for that. Grateful for his love and support of this university and for what his writing has meant to so many readers in Canada and internationally. Writing of truth and independence, of grace, power, and compassion. Now, Cheryl will give Rudy his award in a moment, but as she said, Rudy's going to come up and have a little conversation with me, so please welcome Rudy Wiebe. So Rudy, could we start? Thank you for being here, by the way. You're going to be thanked many times tonight, so I don't want to be remiss, but thank you.
I'm very grateful.
I'd like to start with the privilege that we have to have this conversation on Treaty 1 land, and I want to ask about something that you have written about many times, over and over again. You've been writing about this for a long time, and that's about our settler relations with Indigenous people. Could you say a little bit about whether you feel hopeful about where we are with that right now? Because that is a pressing issue that so many of us care about, and I know you care about that.
Yes, Treaty 1. August 1871. The first signed treaty in the Western Canada with the native Aboriginal people. Within 2 years, a great big chunk of that land had been given to Mennonites for worship. As many of you know, probably are descendants of that group, of the East Reserve, 1873, 1874. I was born in Treaty 6 land, 1876. And I remember very well growing up in that wonderful primal land where my father and my brothers, who had just escaped, as it were, fled the Soviet Union in 1930. I was born their last child. My father and my brothers were clearing that land, had never been cleared before, and hunting land, and suddenly it was being turned into another kind of civilization of agriculture. And I was a little kid watching that. I grew into this. So I had this wonderful love for this land, and I can only be grateful, as we should all be, when I discovered all kinds of things about that land as I grew older, until I finally was forced, in a sense, imaginatively forced to write a novel about it, and novels again, stories again and again and again, because there are stories in this land. It looks empty just to the uninitiated, but there's beautiful stories here. Walking between the trees, just listen. Look at the clouds, look at the birds, look at the animals, look at the tracks, look at the leaves, look at the trees, and the aspen whispering in the wind. Listen. Listen and you will hear the stories. Yes.
And there are stories that we are only beginning to hear. If you were a citizen of the United Kingdom, you would probably be Sir Rudy Wiebe right now. But you live in Canada, and we don't give out knighthoods. But you are the kind of elder statesman of Canadian literature.
I once did meet the Queen.
Did you?
Well, she walked past. I was in the front line, but she walked past with her dogs. They were nice dogs, actually.
Can you tell that how much you are respected by the Canadian literary community? I mean, do you feel a kind of mantle of elder statesmanship? Can you feel that?
Oh yes, I did, especially when the Globe and Mail ran a story about why Rudy Wiebe will never write a funny novel.
So you have a reputation.
Well, I actually try to explain to them that I really see the comedy of life, and the problem is I see it in Low German, you see, which is very difficult for most Canadians. So my jokes are Low German jokes, and after that it's serious.
You can try one on this room, at least half the people get it.
I will, when the occasion arises.
Oh, okay. Being a writer is a very odd thing. It's a very lonely thing. And yet you have to imagine your community of readers. You are writing on behalf of a community of readers. Has it been a joy for you to be a writer? Has it been a burden? What's it been like to be a writer? Because it is a very odd vocation.
Well, it is odd in some sense, but in some sense it's not at all. And I've enjoyed it tremendously, although I remember particularly, I was sitting, when I was sabbatical, and when I was writing Big Bear, The Temptations of Big Bear, and sitting in a basement in a house in British Columbia that we had rented for my sabbatical. And I was in the basement and I could look out and there was a small window I could see Mount Baker. And upstairs my 2-year-old son was listening to, what was that kids show about? Anyway, The Friendly Giant or something? And I would hear that music. It was absolutely wonderful. I sat there staring at a map of Western Canada and wrote that book. And it's most lonely, and it's the most wonderful thing to do. I absolutely enjoyed it. And I think it was Peace Club Extraordinary. I've said this before. It was the reaction to Peace Club Extraordinary that forced me to write forever and ever all my life. Because suddenly I realized, telling stories is a dangerous, provocative, and absolutely marvelous business. Keep on doing it. Even though it gets you into all kinds of trouble and makes people all disturbed. That's quite wonderful.
I was going to say that the more I teach English, the more I realize that many people do go to books to be comforted and to escape. But, of course, I think, and you think, that books are also for tough, even dangerous subjects. So, there is truth that has to be told. But can I also ask you about...
I was just going to say that when we read books, we live another life vicariously. And we know that we can understand things and experience things that would be horrible in our real life. And they're very difficult to think through, but to live them this way in your imagination is quite marvelous. And that's what a good writer tries to help you do, to live another life vicariously. And that is perhaps the best thing that a writer can do.
When CMU gives you this award in a moment, it's for people who have made considerable inroads in the fields of service, leadership, and reconciliation. You've already said a little bit about how a writer does that, to imagine yourself into characters, and that helps us to be compassionate and people of reconciliation. When you hear these words applied to you, that you're going to be recognized for service, leadership, and reconciliation, how do you feel?
Well, they're very good words, but heavy. Very heavy. I don't know. You see, as a Mennonite kid, growing up in the bushes, northern Saskatchewan, my mother would have said to me, if you apply those to yourself, they mention Maine is a himot. You understand that? They Maine is a himot. They mean themselves something. They think they are something, right? It's pride. It's not words that you really would apply to yourself. But if other people do it, well, that's okay. But they're very complicated words. And I can only think of, the example of my life. Jesus Christ, who said, I am among you as one who serves, right? That is the highest concept that I can imagine. Yes.
I know you have a great fondness for this place. It's the institution that grew out of MBBC, and I know one of the reasons that you loved MBBC is that you met Tina there.
Absolutely. Without MBBC, we probably would have never met.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you felt about MBBC and how you feel about CMU now, like what this place means to you?
Well, I studied here 2 years, and studied the texts of the Bible in a way that's very thorough and very, very, very provocative. And so that when I got to Germany, for example, and studied at the University of Tübingen, which is a very outstanding theological faculty, I could actually understand what they were talking about in German, even though a lot of it went over my head. But the point is that it is important for us to spend this kind of time actually studying what we believe and why we believe it. You can't just automatically say, well, my forefathers believe it, I believe it too. Our world has cut that basis out from under us, and we have to be sensible and understanding and reasonable and brilliant about what we understand, what we believe. Why do I believe this? Not just because my ancestors said it. It's because of something profoundly beyond that. And MEBC helped me to do that, and I think CMU does too. At least I hope it does. It seems to me it does.
It's a remarkable place. To teach here is a great privilege. I only have one more question, and then Cheryl will give you your award, and we'll let you rest. I want to ask, but this is an important.
That sounds kind of final.
I could have put that better. I want to ask you about peacemaking, because it's so central to everything that we do here, and so central to much of what you have written. You and I have done this before. We've had a public interview before, and on the publication of your book, Where the Truth Lies. And some of my favorite essays in that book were about the call to nonviolence. And your tone, when you write about that, is so beautifully impassioned. Can you say something as we finish up here today about the place of nonviolence and forgiveness in your way of looking at the world?
Requires a whole novel. As we know, and every day as we watch the news, especially now, with this kind of horror of technology, which makes it possible for us to see the most dreadful things happening at the other end of the world as they happen. Humanity has done this to itself, of creating this kind of incomprehensible technology that can show us these horrors happening. We need more than ever the peace that passeth understanding, the peace that can only come to us through vision and through understanding of the kind of spiritual life, spiritual creatures that we truly are. And even though we have these horrible aberrations of happening before our very eyes as we're sitting in our own living rooms, that we also have the capacity of understanding and forgiving those that have trespassed against us, which is the core of the prayer that our Master taught us to pray. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. That is finding the ultimate peace, it seems to me, in this lifetime.
There may be a heaviness in the words service, leadership, and reconciliation in church and society. Rudy, you have exemplified also a lightness of thoughtfulness in a life of service, leadership, and reconciliation. We are grateful, and CMU is honored to present you with the 2019 PAX Award.